Hi, welcome to our channel Good New. The worldwide chip market is expanding, and China, the largest market, is increasing production capacity. In the next 5 years, China is expected to add 25 12-inch fabs. The entire monthly manufacturing capacity of China's 12-inch fabs would approach 2.763 million wafers by 2026, representing a 165.1% increase over the current level. The worldwide market will face a terrible chip shortage in 2021 as a result of many variables including the pandemic, the rising home economy, and electric automobiles. Many governments have chanted the chip self-sufficiency mantra and actively pushed the local development and expansion of fabs. China, which has been sanctioned by the US, has quickened its pace. China's semiconductor sector has entered an unparalleled period of fast expansion in the last 5 years as a result of geopolitical conflict and the epidemic, and China's homegrown chips have progressively joined the main stage. SEMI has revealed that China will dominate the world in 8-inch manufacturing capacity. Clearly, China is constructing the chip factory of the future. So, how does China want to develop its domestic semiconductor sector over the next 5 years? Can it make fresh advances that will astound the globe in the next 5 years? What is the most challenging challenge now confronting China's domestic semiconductor industry? Please subscribe to our channel and enable the notification bell before we begin today's video. Let's have a look at the topic we'll be discussing today. Let us first discuss how China intends to build its domestic semiconductor sector over the next 5 years. Even if local fabs in China are fully loaded all year and continue to develop, there is still a significant capacity deficit. According to data, there are presently 23 12-inch wafer fabs in operation in China, with a total monthly manufacturing capacity of around 1.042 million wafers. The capacity loading rate of these wafer factories is just 66.58% of the entire anticipated monthly production capacity of 1.565 million wafers. There is still plenty of space for growth. To complement production capacity, 25 additional 12-inch fabs are anticipated to be built in China during the next 5 years. These fabs' combined monthly output capacity is expected to reach 1.6 million wafers. The overall monthly manufacturing capacity of China's 12-inch fabs will approach 2.763 million wafers by the end of 2026, representing a 165.1% increase over the current level. In the next 5 years, the most 12-inch fabs will be placed into service in 2022, with 6 operational by the end of the year. However, 2 of the 6 fabs are in Shanghai, and 1 will be postponed until next year due to the Shanghai pandemic. Although the market may confront chip overcapacity in the fourth quarter of 2021 owing to the ongoing increase of global production, the expansion of China's wafer fabs over the next 5 years will not produce overcapacity. On the contrary, if capacity growth cannot be established, chip product iteration will continue to be delayed, limiting the development of the whole Chinese industrial chain. To minimize duplication of construction and resource waste, key Chinese regulatory authorities have enacted stronger regulatory laws that require chip producers to completely verify that future production capacity would be paid for by the market before constructing plants. Furthermore, an increasing number of chip design firms will develop capacity alliances with fabs. In the next 5 years, there will be a wave of IC design mergers and acquisitions, which will encourage the establishment of long-term contracts between large-scale chip design organizations and fabs. It is simpler for the fab to distribute capacity and avoid the circumstance of low utilization rate with the certainty of a long-term contract. Overall, China is sticking to its existing plant development schedule, and future overcapacity will be tough to come by. So, will China be the world leader in 8-inch capacity? Global semiconductor makers are predicted to grow 8-inch fab capacity by 1.2 million wafers, or 21%, from the beginning of 2020 to the end of 2024, reaching an all-time high of 6.9 million wafers per month. 8-inch fab utilization remains strong, and the global semiconductor industry is battling chip shortages, with 8-inch fab equipment investment estimated to reach $4.9 billion in 2022. Over the next 5 years, the wafer maker will install 25 additional 8-inch production lines to meet the background of 5G's rapid expansion, the rising need for automotive and Internet of Things devices, analog, power management and display driver ICs, MOSFETs, MCUs, and sensing applications. SEMI President and CEO Ajit Minocha stated. Regionally, mainland China will dominate the globe in 8-inch capacity, accounting for 21% of all 8-inch capacity by 2022, followed by Japan, 16%, Taiwan, 15%, and Europe/Middle East, 15%. What challenges will China face in expanding the semiconductor sector after knowing about China's semiconductor goal for the next 5 years? Please continue to watch. The first barrier stems mostly from the conflict between U.S. limitations and Chinese autonomy. Chinese semiconductor firms must not only pass the United States' severe audit of China's semiconductor supply chain, but also fulfill the main aim of independent control of China's semiconductor. This is a jarring juxtaposition. While depending on the global supply chain that has been thoroughly checked by the U.S., Chinese enterprises are also researching modern technologies. In the meanwhile, they must grow and maintain alternative supply networks. Its difficulty is comparable to walking a tightrope, and if it gets too quickly at a particular point, the United States will sanction it. Domestic enterprises, on the other hand, will claim that they do not support the independent supply chain if they move too slowly or chase market gains. As a result, Chinese firms are continually torn between market gains and supporting the upstream and downstream industrial chains. The second barrier is international fusion as well as home fission. What does it imply? Well, when governments see the tremendous importance of the semiconductor sector, they compete to support it. Their strategy is to concentrate resources on mature top enterprises in their home nations and assist them in expanding production capacity, after which they would engage in worldwide mergers and acquisitions to become larger and stronger. Western countries will never establish a new semiconductor body from the ground up. On the other hand, there has been a frenzied rush of entrepreneurship and investment in China as a result of the boom in semiconductor localization. It results in the brain drain of mature semiconductor businesses as well as capital dispersion. The domestic semiconductor market appears to be affluent, but this is due to internal rivalry among low-level firms and periodic pricing wars. These two completely different approaches, the concentration of international enterprises' resources and the dispersion of domestic enterprises' resources, eventually lead to international manufacturers continuing to produce high-end products while Chinese domestic companies remain in the low-end market. Okay, the two difficulties mentioned above represent the current state of affairs for China's semiconductors. In a nutshell, the evolution of the Chinese nation's manufacturing industry has been a painful one. From the westernization movement until the present, the window time for stable progress has always been brief, while the era of suffering from home and external issues has always been lengthy. But, as long as it is handled correctly, I believe there is no impediment that cannot be surmounted. Do you concur with me? Thanks for watching in this video. You can add your ideas or suggestions below. Please keep following our channel and like our videos.